Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelisa, and on this channel we read, discuss, and obsess over books together. And today I'm doing a video that I've done before, and I love doing these videos, to be honest. I'm gonna be talking about 50 books that are coming out in 2025 that are anticipated for me, for you, for readers. Maybe you know about them, maybe you don't know about them, but also just, you know, books that you can pre-order right now and get excited for 2025. So I do have them broken up into different genres. Obviously the books that are being released in 2025, there are far more than what I'm listing here, but these are 50 that I am most excited for, that I think are definitely going to be very popular for 2025. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So first, I have 21 romance books to talk to you guys about. We're gonna go in order of release date. The first book I have is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is releasing on January 7th. This is the third book in the When in Rome series. So you have When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, and then this third book is being released January 7th. I personally haven't read any of the Sarah Adams books, but I've heard amazing things about them. I know people are going to be excited about this book release, so I thought I would add it in there. Next up, on February 4th, our queen Elle Hazelwood is releasing Deep End. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I just know that she had wanted to name it Wet, like W-H-E-T or something like that. I had seen something on her Instagram about that, and they made her name it Deep End. I'm pretty sure it's like a swimmer romance. Yeah, it's a competitive diver romance. They're both like swim people. One's a swim captain, one's a competitive diver, that type of thing. I think it'd be really cute. Elle Hazelwood, I find that her books that like go into like a niche topic, whether it be like women in STEM or chess, or like vampire werewolves, she always does a really good job. And I don't know, I'm excited. I love her writing, I love her books. I think it'll be really cute. It also just looks very spicy. The next one we have releasing February 11th is Scythe, I don't know how to say it, and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. So this is the third book in the Butcher and Blackbird like trilogy. It's called the Ruinous Love trilogy. I'm pretty sure each book has a different like story. I'm pretty sure they're interconnected standalones. This third one is about a circus motorcycle performer and a lonely small town doctor. I know that these all have to do with like murder and love, or like serial killers and love, so I don't know. I'm excited. I think this one will be super fun, and it is scheduled to release February 11th. Next we have The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. This is releasing on February 25th. This is also a third book in one of her series. This one is the Campus Diary series, which I believe is like a series that comes after the Off-Campus series by her, and it's like about the children of those first characters. I don't know, something like that. Haven't read them yet, but I've heard amazing things about them and I want to read them. So this is the third one, The Charlie Method. The first one is called The Graham Effect, and the second one is called The Dixon Rule. Next, on March 1st, Wild Side by Elsie Silver is being released. So this is the third book in the Rose Hill series. We have Wild Love, Wild Eyes, and then Wild Side. I'm super excited for this book. I love the covers of these books so much. I love Elsie Silver's writing. I am still halfway through the Chestnut Spring series. I need to just like keep going. I had paused for some reason because it felt very like summery, but I want to just keep going. But I'm really excited for this. March 1st, a brand new book by Elsie Silver. She is just pumping them out recently, and like good for her. Next, on March 4th, we have While We're Young by K.L. Walther. K.L. Walther writes a lot of like YA, in my opinion, very like nostalgic titles, nostalgic settings. I really liked her this Summer Broken Rules book, and she has a few others that I'm interested in reading, and this is a new one that's coming out. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. While We're Young as a title is just so cute to me. It is supposed to be inspired by Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is also just super cute to me. I think that'll be adorable as a like YA romance. So I don't know. I'm very, very excited for this one. Next we have a new Lucy Score book coming out on March 13th, Story of My Life. I believe this is the start to a series. It says the first book in the Story Lake series. It's going to be a new small town rom-com from Lucy Score. I am so excited. I think this will be so cute. It is like, I think based in, so it's a small town, but the original character like was living in like the Upper East Side. So definitely like big town girl or big city girl moving into a small town, meeting small town guy. Ugh, I love romances like that so much. I think this will be super duper cute. Next, on April 1st, I really hope this isn't an April Fool's joke, we get The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. First of all, like, okay, when I saw this, I was like, this cover is so out of pocket that like I am not totally sure that this is gonna be a real book. And it coming out on April 1st, I'm just like, is she playing a joke on us? Like, I'm confused. So apparently it's supposed to be a brand new novel by Jessa Hastings, and it's supposed to be about London-based Georgia Carter, professional lie detector and body language savant, has long been estranged from her infuriating, closed-minded, wealthy South Carolina family. After a falling out years ago, the chasm runs deep between the black sheep Georgia and her gay alcoholic brother and their parents and elder siblings. But when their father dies suddenly, Georgia returns to the States for the funeral, where she comes face to face with Sam Penny, her brother's AA sponsor. Amid the tensions, dramas, and revelations of the family reunion, Georgia and Sam are instantly drawn to each other. However, Georgia's brother also harbors feelings for Sam, and the last thing Georgia wants to do is hurt the only family she's ever really had. When their father's will reveals a surprising bequest to a mysterious stranger, Georgia's ability to read people becomes crucial in unraveling her father's hidden past. The delicate balance within the family teeters, and secrets, both old and new, threaten to push them beyond the breaking point. There are only so many cracks a damaged family can take before it shatters. Like, what is happening? Like, this book just sounds so insane. I'm confused. And it's not Daisy Hates 3. So I don't know. April 1st coming out. Also on April 1st, also really hope it's not an April Fool's joke, I don't think it is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez so much. I love her writing. I don't think this is based in the same world as any of her other books. I'm not really sure, but I'm super excited about this. I get really emotional when I think about Abby Jimenez because her writing is just so good, and every time I finish one of her books, I want another one immediately. So I'm really excited about this. I really am. April 15th, we get Wild and Wrangles by Lyla Sage. I believe this is the third book in the Done and Dusted series. Maybe it's the fourth. I haven't read that series, but it is a cowboy romance series if you're interested. The covers are so freaking cute. I love the old style comic art, and I just like, I've heard a really great things about it. A lot of my friends who have similar taste to me really like these books, so I think it'll be good, and she's turned it into a whole series. April 22nd, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Like I said, I've done this video a few times, and every time I've done this video, I've gotten to mention an Emily Henry book, and I feel so privileged to be able to continue to mention Emily Henry books because it means that she is still coming out with books, and I'm just like, I'm obsessed with her writing. I love her writing. I feel like it's become very like basic to like Emily Henry, but like she is truly such an amazing author and writer and funny person. Like I say, like I would read her grocery lists. I am subscribed to her thing called Emily's Grocery List, and she's just an all around, like, she's kind of like, to me, like the Taylor Swift of authors. And I know that sounds crazy, but she's so wholesome. She's so real. When she like does interviews, it's like she cannot believe that she's there, or like people love reading her books. And I just like, she's also just such an artist. Like what she writes and how she makes people feel is something that I think should be celebrated. So we're going to celebrate on April 22nd when her book comes out. April 29th, Destructively Mine by Krista and Becca Ritchie is coming out. So this is the second book to their new series. It started with Dishonestly Yours. These have gorgeous covers. These books, like, I would buy all of these books just for the covers alone. And Kristen and Becca Ritchie, if you're not aware, are the authors of the sensational Addicted to You series. So I have not started this new series yet, but I have a feeling that it's going to be really, really good. Also on April 29th, we have King of Envy by Anna Huang coming out. I think this is like the fifth book in her Kings of Sin series, and which makes sense because it's supposed to be about the 7 deadly sins, and each person is a king of a sin. So yeah, this is her fifth book coming out. Not sure what it's about, but very excited for this series because I really did love the Twisted series and I've been wanting to start this one. So the fact that she's made it such a long series is also really good because that means I have a lot to look forward to, and I've heard a lot of great things about it. On May 6th, Carly Fortune is coming out with One Golden Summer. Now, her last few books had some quips with this one. When I read the synopsis, it sounds really good. Like, the synopsis just sounds really good, so I'm hoping it's really good, and her covers are gorgeous. So it is coming out on May 6th, which is right before summer begins, which I think is also, she seems to time her releases with summer. She definitely is a summer girly. So yeah, very excited for this one as well. Also on May 6th, we have What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I'm pretty sure she writes a lot of like workplace romances. This one is a little different though, where she runs into her ex in Amsterdam, literally crashes into him on a bike, and they end up entering a marriage of convenience to help each other. So I don't know, this could be really interesting. I like Rachel Lynn Solomon's writing. I think her writing's really good. So yeah, we'll see. Next we have Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan on May 13th. If you're a Kennedy Ryan fan, I haven't read her books, but I've heard really good things about them. This I think is the third book in her series. A lot of the covers look very similar. They'll usually have a woman on the front. I'll like show them here so you can see. So this is the third book. I'm pretty sure they're standalones, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself. But I've heard really good things about this, and that is coming out on May 13th. Also out on May 13th is Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. So this is the third book in her new, I think it's the Lakefront Billionaires series. Love Redesigned, Love Unwritten, and then Love Arranged is this third one. If you read the fine print and you loved it, I would definitely go into this series when you're done. It's supposed to be the exact same vibe. Billionaires, three brothers, or they're like attached to each other in some way. So yeah. Next on May 20th, we have The Love Haters by Catherine Center. Catherine Center is another author that just kind of like blew up all of a sudden. Her books have been doing really, really well, and she's coming out with a new romance on May 20th. The Love Haters as a title, so funny to me and pretty much like self-explanatory in my opinion. These two don't get along and they don't like love, and they end up going on this like trip or vacation together, and I guess like the first line of the synopsis, it's a thin line between love and love hating. So next on June 10th, we have Never Been Shipped by Alicia Thompson. Alicia Thompson, A, her freaking covers are so cute, and B, her books I have read, I really like her writing style. I think it's really, really fun, and I think that this book will be really fun too. It has to do with like a band reunion. Like, I don't know, I'm getting very like Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, but like as a rom-com. So I don't know, I think this will be really fun. I'm excited for it. Next on June 17th, we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. So Ashley Poston writes very like, I don't know, like magical, paranormal, like just teetering on the line of fantasy, I guess, but not really, romance books, and I've loved her books so far, and she's coming out with a new one, and this is supposed to be the same kind of idea. There's some sort of like magical or paranormal element to it, or whether it be like playing with time or ghosts, or you're in a book or something like that. So I don't know, I'm excited for this one. My last romance book I have is Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter, which is coming out on July 15th. Now that is Made for Each Other, M-A-I-D, so it does have to do with like a maid. I didn't read too much into it because Lynn Painter's books, I find that if you just go into it blind, you always end up enjoying it. Her writing is so much fun, her plots are so much fun, they're so goofy, she is so funny as a writer. So yeah, I'm excited for that romance book as well. Alright, moving on to mystery thriller books. I have 11 books for you guys. First, back to the beginning of the year on January 14th, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney is coming out. I haven't seen an Alice Feeney release in a year or two, so I'm really excited about this, at least not that I know of. And I loved Rock, Paper, Scissors, His and Hers. I haven't read I Know You Lied or something like that. Is that what it's called? I Know Who You Are yet, but Beautiful Ugly looks really, really good. First of all, I always love titles that have like an opposite thing going to it. The cover is also very interesting to me with the rip in the middle and like the words underneath, and it's actually about marriage and revenge. So this man is on the phone with his wife, really excited to tell her some great news, when on the other end he hears basically like a car accident happen and she's presumed dead. He's grieving. Years later he goes to this like Scottish island to try and write a book so that he can like get his life back on track and just focus on himself. And while he's there, he sees this woman who looks exactly like his wife. And I guess like, oh my god, just the concept of this book sounds so interesting. And Alice Feeney's really good at writing like dual POV where you have no idea what's going on and things aren't always as they seem. So I'm very excited about this one. Like, I'm really excited. Next, on January 28th, Frida McFadden's coming out with a new book called The Crash. She's another one who's been pumping out books recently. Oh my god, I feel like every month I see a new Frida McFadden book. Maybe it's just her re-releasing old ones or something, but The Crash is coming out. And I mean, it's basically about this girl who's like pregnant and she's stranded in the middle of a blizzard and her car like breaks down. Books like that always freak me out because it's such a like common situation that you can get into. Like, anyone can be in the middle of like just driving somewhere, whether it be a trip or like whatever it is, and like a blizzard could start if you live in Canada or something. Okay, yeah, maybe not everybody, but like I live in Canada, so it's a real fear. Anyway, that's coming out on January 28th. Next, another Finlay Donovan book is coming out on March 4th. It's called Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave. This is part of the Finlay Donovan series by Elle Cosimano. I just read the first one recently and oh my god, is it funny and just so like outrageous. It really reminds me of the TV series called Good Girls, where you just have like these moms who are getting themselves into stuff that like you never would guess a mom would be involved in. Like, usually, like, this obviously is based on huge stereotypes. So usually when you think of mom, you think of like children, working, like just regular old like woman stuff, but these moms are getting into stuff that is just like insane. And they're also just so funny because you're watching this like crazy gang related show while like on the other side she's like baking cupcakes for her children, so you get to see like both sides, and it's just, it shows like how dynamic moms are and that like they are not just moms, like they have all sorts of different personality and wants and needs, and this book just like highlights it even more, and I loved it. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is her fourth or fifth one. I feel like it's the fifth one that's coming out or something like that. But yeah, Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave, March 4th. Next, on March 25th, we have This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. Ashley Winstead has written a few interesting books, including In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, Midnight is the Darkest Hour, and then she's coming out with this new one. The synopsis is actually quite confusing, and I find that with Ashley Winstead books, there's a lot going on. So I will prompt you to read the synopsis yourself and take your time with it. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain right now, but when I'm reading it, I'm like, that's a lot. That a lot is going on. A lot is going on. And that's how I felt about Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Like, a lot was going on, but it was really good. I did really like that book. Next, we have The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose on April 8th. So The Maid's Secret, I think, is the third book in her little series she has going on with Molly the Maid, which is such a cute series, by the way. Like, I love this series. I love Molly as a narrator. I think she's such an interesting POV to read from, and I'm really excited for this new book by Nita. On June 10th, we get a new Riley Sager book. It's called With a Vengeance, which is a crazy title. It's based in 1942, and basically this girl is lured onto a train for 14 hours, and she's trying to confront these people who like destroyed her family a bunch of years ago. Interesting concept, crazy concept. I don't know. I don't want to read on too much because I like to go into Riley Sager's books very blind because his writing is just really good. So I'm gonna leave it at that, but that is coming out on June 10th. Next, on June 24th, Lisa Jewell, my queen, is coming out with Don't Let Him In. Lisa Jewell has also been pumping out books. She has been forever, and she's a very talented writer as well. In this one, it's about three women who are connected by a killer. These three have like a bunch of different like storylines going on, and then they all get connected when they receive something in the mail about this guy. I don't want to go too into it, but Lisa Jewell's another one who just writes like very good like multiple POV books. I don't know, I love her writing. She's such a nice person as well, like on Instagram DMs, and yeah, I'm excited. Next, on July 22nd, Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson is coming out. I love Holly Jackson. She writes amazing YA mystery thrillers. I don't even want to read the synopsis for this because her books again are another one that like I love going into blind, but that's coming out on July 22nd. I will definitely be pre-ordering this book. Yeah, I love her. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, 5 Survive was really good. Like, she's just a really good writer. On July 29th, we have Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes coming out. So Glorious Rivals is the second book to The Grandest Game, which is based in the same world as the Inheritance games. Like, it's like a second series after the Inheritance games. I know it's really confusing. I was confused as well. If you haven't read any of it, start with the Inheritance games. Like, go in order from the beginning. But this second book that's coming out, which is like part of The Grandest Game but separate from this other book, Games Untold, that just came out. I don't know. It's really confusing. This book that I'm talking about is coming out on July 29th. So if you want to pre-order it and you've read all the books I'm talking about, go for it. On August 26th, we have Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham coming out. So Stacey Willingham has written a few mystery thrillers that I actually enjoyed. One of them was All the Dangerous Things. Another one was Flicker in the Dark. So this new one, Forget Me Not, is coming out August 26th. It's supposed to be like a southerner thriller, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's about this girl named Claire who 22 years ago, her older sister Natalie disappeared on her 18th birthday, and like days later blood was found in her car, a man was arrested, like the case was closed. And then decades later, Claire has been trying to move on until her father calls her and she's forced back home to face it all over again. She starts working at this like place called a Galloway farm, and while she's there, she starts to like discover things about her sister and like her family and like diaries and stuff that kind of makes her think that like maybe what happened wasn't actually what happened. So yeah, I don't know. It sounds like an interesting book. I think it'll be really interesting, and it's coming out August 26th. The last mystery thriller I have here coming out September 9th is Hot Wax by M.L. Rio. So M.L. Rio wrote the books If We Were Villains, which is kind of like a Shakespearean type of mystery, dark academia thriller. I don't know how to explain it. So this new book that they have coming out called Hot Wax sounds very interesting. It's basically a band of rocker misfits, rivals, and trailblazers on a tour that could have catapulted them to superstardom if it hadn't all come crashing down. So that's the synopsis I have. That's all that Goodreads says. I think it's because it's coming out so much later in the year that it hasn't been finalized. But it is coming out September 9th, and, you know, if you're interested, you can definitely look into it closer to the date. Okay, next I have 3 horror books. So the first one, January 14th, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix is coming out. So Grady Hendrix writes a bunch of, like, comedic horror books, and Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, I'm gonna guess is gonna be, like, a parody play on witchcraft. I'm really excited about it. I love witchcraft, and I think it'll be really funny. Grady Hendrix's writing is very out there, but it's refreshing. Like, it's nice. It's a different type of writing than I'm used to. The next one we have is The Manor of Dreams by Christina Lee, coming out May 6th. This one just looked so interesting. The cover was very intriguing to me, and it's supposed to be like kind of like Mexican Gothic meets Everything I Never Told You. It's about like these 2 Chinese families who are like fighting to inherit this mansion or something like that. The whole synopsis sounded really interesting, and yeah, it is a horror book. So the last horror I have coming out May 27th is a new Stephen King novel. I know, we're getting a new Stephen King. It's called Never Flinch. The cover looked so creepy. I didn't even have to read the synopsis, and I literally was like, this is going on the list. It's Stephen King, it's a horror book, and it's coming out May 27th. That's all you need to know. Okay, next we have 13 fantasy books. So the first one coming out January 14th is called Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao. Now, this looked very interesting. I saw it on like a 2025 release list, and I thought it looked really cool. I loved the title, the cover, everything. And it kind of reminded me of Before the Coffee Gets Cold and like all those Toshikazu Kawaguchi books, because it has to do with this like pawn shop where you can sell your regrets. And then it's also based in Tokyo. So yeah, it just sounded really interesting, and it's a new fantasy that's going to be released. So I thought I would put it on the list. Next we have, obviously, Onyx Storm is being released January 21st. That's the 3rd book in the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like I don't have to say too much. I don't even want to say too much, because if you haven't read it, I don't want to spoil it. Go read the first 2 books. I will probably be trying to reread them over the holidays before this 3rd book comes out, because I want to have a fresh mind. But yeah, January 21st. Next, on February 11th, Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales is coming out. That is the third book in Heather Fawcett's little series. I love the covers for these. I think the entire concept is just so, so, so cute. And yeah, so that one is coming out February 11th. Next, Kristen Ciccarelli, I don't even know how to say her name. February 18th, she's releasing Rebel Witch. So if you don't know, she wrote the Heartless Hunter book and series, and it's been doing really, really well. The Crimson Moth series, I think it's what it's called. So Rebel Witch is a new book that's going to be coming out on February 18th. And yeah, it has to do with witches. And that was all that I needed to know. So that's all you need to know. If you want to know more, you can look it up. Next, we have The Rag Picker King by Cassandra Clare coming out on March 5th. So if you didn't know, she came out with a new book called The Sword Catcher. My battery died. But anyway, I am back. I was talking about The Rag Picker King. So Cassandra Clare came out with The Sword Catcher last year. I thought it was going to be a standalone, and then it ended up actually being a series. So the second book for the series is coming out on March 5th. Next, on March 18th, Suzanne Collins pulled one out of nowhere. She's coming out with Sunrise on the Reaping on March 18th. So if you don't know, Suzanne Collins wrote the Hunger Games series, and out of nowhere she had come out like a few years ago with The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, where she's talking about like President Snow's story, how he came to be President Snow, why he's so evil, etc., etc., and why he hates District 12. Now she's coming out with Haymitch's story. Haymitch is a very important character in the Hunger Games. He coaches the District 12 tributes, and he's just the character like dynamic that you see with him and learn a little bit about his background has always made me curious to see like his story, and I'm so excited that we're getting this. Like, I want to kiss Suzanne Collins' feet for giving us this. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm so excited for the eventual movie that's going to come out, because I've always loved the Hunger Games like movie adaptations. I think they do a really good job, and just seeing like what's described in the book on screen is so cool. Anyway, moving on. Next, on April 1st, we have Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake writes very interesting books. I don't even know how to describe them. They're a little bit of dark academia, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of everything. So Gifted and Talented is coming out on April 1st. On April 15th, we're getting Shatter Me reboot. Tahari Mafi is coming out with Watch Me, where basically it's going to be based in the Shatter Me world. It's going to be like a second generation type of thing, and this is the first book of this new series. So the covers match the old ones. I'm super excited. I think it'll be really, really fun. I'm hoping it's not going to be like one of those series where you're just like, okay, I could have done without this. Like, I really hope it adds to things, so we'll see. Next, for the Blood and Ash fans, I personally have not started this series, but if you have and you like Jennifer L. Armentrout books, on June 10th, she's coming out with a new book called The Primal of Blood and Bone. I'm pretty sure this is like number 6 or something in the middle of a series. She's got 2 series that are like interconnected, I think. So I get really confused about the reading order. I eventually want to get into her books because I think they're really good. Like, I've heard really good things about them. But yeah, June 10th, her new book's coming out. Also on June 10th, we have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab is another one who writes very interesting books. Her plots are so cool. The fantasy books and like just like kind of gothic horror type of vibe that she gives is very interesting. So I'm excited for her new book. I think it'll be really good. And Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is such a good title. Like, that is a really good title if I've ever heard one. Oh, sounds okay. I'm gonna read you this tiny little synopsis because I don't have much else than this, but it says Santo Domingo de la Calzada, 1532. London, 1837. Boston, 2019. 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, and one grows deep, and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. I'm sorry? That sounds insane. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, moving on. August 5th, A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reid is coming out. That is going to be the second book to A Study in Drowning. I did not know that was going to be a series. Rowan's going to be so excited. She probably already knows because she follows Ava Reid on Instagram, and like she knows everything before I do for Ava Reid. That's so fun. A Study in Drowning is basically this book where like I'm actually in the middle of it right now, but basically this girl, she's on this thing where like she's been assigned to like rebuild this like crumbling house that's like on the cliff of an ocean or something, and there's definitely fantasy in it because there's some things going on. I need to get back into the book because it's actually been like 3 months since I started reading it, so I want to get back into it. But this is going to be a second book for this series, so I'm excited to see what the ending of the first one is now that I know there's going to be a second one. And yeah, it's coming out on August 5th. On August 28th, we have Catabasis, I don't even know, by R.F. Kuang coming out. R.F. Kuang writes very interesting books as well. Apparently this is supposed to be like a mishmash of like Dante's Inferno and Susanna Clarke's Piranesi, so I don't know if it's gonna have some like ancient, oh yeah, it has some ancient Greek in it. Okay. Oh, okay, it's kind of like a dark academia fantasy. This is a very long synopsis with a lot of words in it. Definitely has a lot of Greek Greek mythology in it. Honestly, I've read a few R.F. Kuang, and people I know have read R.F. Kuang, and they always like their books. So I don't know, when I saw this I was like, this is really exciting. I love ancient Greek mythology in general, so I think I'm definitely gonna pick up this one and try it. Okay, my last fantasy book for this video is A Steeping of Blood by Hafsa Faisal. It's coming out September 25th. So this is going to be the second book of her, I think it's called her Blood and Tea series or something like that, but the first book is called A Tempest of Tea. So this is going to be her second book in the series, which is super excited. But it's coming out next year, September 25th. So we do have a ways to go, which means I have time to read A Tempest of Tea. Okay, the last two books I have on this list are contemporary fiction, and I just kind of put them in their own category because they are separate. They're actually both coming out on the same day. June 3rd, we are getting a new Fredrik Backman book. So it's going to be called My Friends. Fredrik Backman is an author that kind of broke out in the last few years, and I think his books are translated from like German or Swedish or something. I'm so sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but he writes a lot of like contemporary fiction, and usually will focus on like a character. The other one that's coming out is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am so happy that we are getting a new Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've been waiting for a new Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have completed like her entire backlist, and I've just been sitting here like craving her writing and her, like, I want to call it world building because she really makes you feel like you're in her world. Like, I sometimes like her world better than the one that I live in. So yeah, I'm really excited for that book. I think it's gonna be really good. I don't even know what it's about. I kind of want to have like a small idea. Oh, this is sick. It's about the first woman who joined NASA's space shuttle program. This is gonna be so good. I don't even like. Okay, I need to go pre-order books now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below any books that I might have missed or which books you're like excited about. I'm literally excited about every single one of these books. Like, there's a reason why my physical TBR grows every year, and it's because like books just keep on going out that I am like, I need this book, I need to read this book, I love these authors, and it's become a problem. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. I need to go pre-order books. Bye.